So I have a Blue Yeti microphone that the customer has brought in, partially disassembled already. There's a couple screws and whatnot in the bag. So here's the inside of it. And the customer is complaining about the mini USB jack back here is not working properly. So let's go ahead and get a mini USB cable and plug it in, and we'll just do resistance measurements to verify that this jack is actually bad before you go any farther. Okay, so I talked to my customer and he just wants the mini USB jack removed from the circuit board. So I've got a good working mini USB and a USB-A over here on this side. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and do ohm readings. So I'm on the pin good. Okay, so my farthest right hand pin is equal to my farthest right hand pin on both plugs. We'll call that pin number 1 and pin number 2. They're both together. Pin number 3 is the center pin, and then pin 4, that one's bent out of the way a little bit, and then pin 5 all the way over here on the left. So it corresponds with the far left is the far left on both plugs. The next one is, of course, the next one from the left, and so forth. And then the far right hand plug is common on both pins. Like on a micro USB connector, they put a resistor in there to do programming, but that's not going to be necessary on this one, because if you look closely at the Blue Yeti circuit board, you can see right here, these two pins are common, they're tied together. So I believe these, as we're looking at my USB plug I was just testing, are the far right hand pins. So we'll call that pin 1 right here, and pin 2, those are common together, pin 3, pin 4, and pin 5. So as far as the USB-A connector goes, these two are pin 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I just need to go ahead and remove this jack from the circuit board. You see it's a little bit mangled right here. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but I've done an electrical test with my ohm meter, and I do not get all 4 pins, and that's the problem. So we're going to go ahead and unsolder these 4 pins and just remove this mini USB jack completely from the board. I'll probably just go ahead and use my hot air station and heat the whole thing up and just yank it off the board as one complete assembly. We'll use the Hacko. We'll suck the solder out of these 5 terminals, and then we'll go ahead and just reattach the individual leads from the USB cable to the circuit board. I don't see anything wrong with it outwardly, but obviously there is some sort of a problem with it. Okay, so let's do the same test now that I have the mini USB plug connected to the existing plug. So we'll verify our lead integrity. I'm not touching the tips of the leads. I'm touching the actual pin of the USB connector. And so I put a blue dot here. You may not be able to see it. And of course I put a blue dot here to indicate that this pin is common with this side. And I get absolutely nothing here. So that should be pin number 2. Pin number 3 is connected. And then this will be pin number 4. I get nothing. So the only pin that's actually working is pin number 3. So that tells me that my pinout on the jack is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and lop off the end of this. I do need to make sure that I feed my cable through this hole, because my USB-A plug, there's no way it's going to fit through that. So I've got to feed my lopped off end through this first, and then go ahead and attach it to the board so that we can pull everything together and then put the case back on this microphone. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is pull the mini USB jack off of the circuit board. I've got a pair of fine tipped pliers. I can go ahead and grab onto that jack as it heats up. I've got my hot air blower right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat up the top of the jack for a little bit, because I want to make sure that that thermal mass gets heated up really well. And I've got it set for just over 800 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I'm not really worried about melting the jack, which is going to happen because I'm supplying so much heat with it right now. So once I get it good and hot, I think we're almost there. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. And then that's how easy it is to get it off the board. And so let's take a look at the top of the circuit board. No damage whatsoever. Okay, so here is a close-up shot of the circuit board after I've cleaned all the solder out of the holes with the Hacko. Let's take a look at the other side. So this is the other side of the board, the component side of the board. Everything looks good, no torn traces. I think we're going to be just fine. So we'll go ahead and reattach the cable back up to it. Alright, so here is the end of my cable. I have it all prepped. I've taken this one black lead with the long tinned area. That's my ground, my shield. I put a piece of heat shrink over that to the shielded part of the cable. And then I put a second piece of heat shrink over the whole thing to insulate it. So I've done ohm checks from the black, the green, the red, and the white to the end of the USB plug, so I know the orientation. And so now I just need to go ahead and put those in the corresponding holes, solder them up, then we'll add some kind of strain relief, doesn't take much, and a little bit of hot glue to secure everything down to keep it from wanting to travel around. Alright, well there it is, all soldered in place, ready to go. Let's look at the other side of the board. So as you can see, all the pins have been soldered with the exception of this one hole right there, because we're not using that one. The ground leads have been soldered here, the red, the white, the green, and then the black right here. So I need to secure this, add some hot glue to it, and then I think we'll be ready to ship this off down the road. Okay, so I have a zip tie pulling the cord tight at this point. You can see the ground wire attached right there. I've pushed the cord up as far as I could, added the zip tie to it, and so next we'll go ahead and add some hot glue just to secure it to the board a little bit better in case it gets tugged on at some point in its life. Okay, so I have the Blue Yeti set up right here into Audacity, and I have show clipping on because I want to show that I can actually cause it to clip. Then I'm moving it farther away, and you can see the red light's on. Let's go ahead and mute it right now. That is muted. 1, 2, 3. No audio recording. We'll unmute it. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Recording audio once again. Let's play that back. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Recording audio once again. Let's play that back. Okay, so I have the cord secured. It's glued in place. There's just enough room for that zip tie to be able to put this back together in the bottom of the can. You can see right there it is recessed very slightly, so the corner of the zip tie rides up in this little pocket right here. So it's the perfect amount of clearance. So let's go ahead and put the case back on it. The customer supplied the screws in the bag. I'll put the screws back in it and we'll put it all back together so I know electrically it works at this point. Okay, well there it is. All back together. The customer actually only supplied me with that one screw. But as long as there's not excessive force on this USB cable, I think it's going to be okay. I certainly hope you enjoyed another quick video on the repair of the Blue Yeti microphone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking this video. It really helps my channel grow. You can contact me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at NorCal715. Also, if you need to, you can send me an email, norcal715videos@gmail.com. I try to answer all the emails, all the questions, all the comments. Go ahead and leave a comment, good, bad, or indifferent, and I'll try to respond back to you. Remember, with your help, we can try to keep these things out of the landfill, out of the e-waste facility, and out of the recycle bin. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.